Hello there again, everybody. This is going to be Jungle League number 109. This is the exact same list as the previous video, which is 108. So if you're watching live when you use the Stream Decker command, that's why it says 108, because this is the same list. And it went well enough last time. If you want to know any of the in-depth decisions that went into particular cards in this configuration, you can watch the first couple of minutes in League 108, because without going too much into detail, all of that stuff is in the previous video. So let's real quick look at the modern metagame breakdown. Hammer first, Urza second, Blitz third. Three very powerful decks. Blitz had been the first place deck for a long while, at least in terms of meta representation on Magic Online. But two new powerful decks, boosted by Urza Saga, pushing it down all the way to third. And then here's what the rest of the top 15 looks like. So let's jump right into the league. Yeah, Wayward, I think you're only one video behind. I think 107 was the only one that managed to have Ragavan in it. And then 108 I filmed yesterday, which was this list. So I think you're only one behind if you're trying to keep up. Not too bad. Feel better. Good to know. And yeah, we've got a keeper. We've got run in 6, a couple of threats, and some ways to grow the threats. No way to interact on turn 1. Alright, so this looks like the number 2 deck in the meta right now, which is like an Asmo pile. I won't pretend like I know how to pronounce that card's name. Alright, we can use the bobble trick. Maybe we see a 1-mana spell on top that we can maybe kill an Asmo with. We see a Kolaghan's Command. That's probably a card that I'm interested in. But it may be better to just dig for some removal. I guess what I could do is just draw the Kolaghan's Command, and I can redo the Scry trick with the second bobble. You can't spell it without looking at it. Yeah. All right. Well, they've got the combo, so they're gonna make a food for free basically every turn. And by basically every turn, I mean literally every turn. So there's the Kolaghan's Command. So they can cast Asmo if they've got it. And then between casting Tarmogoyf and Renin 6, I think I want to cast the Renin 6. Because Renin 6's minus can combine with the Kolaghan's Command to kill an Asmo, but that only works if we've got the Renin 6 in play already. Alright, Peatland on top. I don't want that. Let's just get a Blood Crypt, even though I drew a Blood Crypt, because we've got basic Forest. And like they don't have the Asmo because they would have played it. Just more bobbles. I mean, we could Scry trick it again. Given that they don't have the Asmo, that makes me want to just play a Tarmogoyf and start getting some pressure going, especially while they're stumbling on mana. So I think I will be deploying a Tarmogoyf here. And then I guess I could bobble trick now to see if I want to fetch shock or just play the forest. There is a Bloodstained Mire on top. I don't want that. So again, while they're stumbling, let's get the glyph down, I think. Let's do an overgrown tomb. We have to get green here because we're playing glyph. So they'll have lots and lots and lots of food. So hopefully they just don't find the Asimo, because then they can kill the glyph for basically free. The read was they didn't have it, so they'd have to find it off the top. Thought monitor, okay. Annoying. And an Emery. Jeez. Alright, well that's something I'm going to have to kill almost for sure. Kolaghan's command can kill the Emery and the Thought Monitor, since the Monitor is an artifact. So that's looking like what the plan is going to be. They didn't actually mill an artifact, so it's not super necessary that I kill this now, but there's not much better that I can do other than like just deploy another Tarmogoyf. I guess they could discard an artifact and cast it, which would give them a food for free. From an establishing pressure standpoint, it's probably best to just play a Tarmogoyf. But then I can't Kolaghan's command next turn and cast a Tarmogoyf. So if I K-command now, I could double Goyf next turn, or Renin 6 and Goyf next turn. Yeah, I'm thinking I just want to shoot these two things. So I think that's going to be Kolaghan's command. So we'll destroy an artifact, 2 to a target. Maybe destroying book it would be right, but they've got 2, which makes it harder. We get to jam for, was it 5 now? If the opponent gets to Urza, I think that's the way we conceivably lose the easiest. Because then they just have infinite mana, pretty much. Not literally infinite, but for their purposes, it's pretty much infinite. Alright, so that can unsummon, which would have been a pretty decent combo with their Emery, which I'm glad I killed. Channeler. Alright, let's attempt an attack. Maybe they'll just spell bomb it. They could be playing like Metallic Rebuke or something like that. But I think I'm just going to apply as much pressure as possible, because I mean, either combination of 2 of these is lethal. Make sure I leave a green available for the second one. So yeah, if they tap out for the Urza, they'll have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana, because they're making 2 more food end step, which is a lot of mana. So let's hope they don't find the land and have the Urza, I suppose. They can spend mana to sacrifice some food too. There's the land, and it's a saga too. So Urza would put us in a lot of trouble. There's Urza. I mean, still we have a good hit if we can somehow destroy this construct this turn. It's gonna be difficult though. They could also gain a bunch of life, because remember, foods can tap for mana now. Okay. So if I attack with both, I can put the opponent to 2 if they don't block with Urza, which would then have them in danger to burn, but they can just sacrifice the food to be at an effective 5. So what's the plan? Channeler can get over the top, but they've got basically infinite mana to just gain a bunch of life. I've got 4 mana to work with here. It's not a lot. I guess if I play Red and 6 first, I go down to 2, then I can go back up to 3 mana, which would let me Thoughtseize and deploy a threat, which seems fine. It's gotta probably be the line. I guess I could Thoughtseize first in case of something like a Metallic Rebuke. Just 3 Daredevils. Alright, well, they're gonna get that back. Ren and 6. And then now I'm just losing to really, really large tokens. I do have a Maelstrom Pulse in the deck. So I could potentially win in a scenario where I find the pulse and get all the constructs out of the way at the same time. But yeah, I'm already in chump block territory to this individual construct. I guess I could triple block this thing. That feels like it's got to be not great. Yeah, I think I've got an exactly 1 turn window to find the pulse. These are the same name or no? This is Construct. This is Construct. Yeah, so they are the same name. Put Asmo on top. Yeah, alright, we're dead. Or Asmo to hand directly. Even worse. Alright, so blue, black, Asmo. Spell Bomb for sure. Fatal Push is another way to kill the Asmo. I don't know that Chalice is going to be good enough. Like, we would have to Chalice on, I guess, exactly 1, which doesn't seem great. Oof seems excellent. Grudge seems excellent. That's about it. I guess they play some number of counters and removal spells. Their entire deck is blue or black, so anything they do that interacts with us directly would get caught by the Veil. I think I need to keep the Unholy Heats because they may be one of my best ways to kill a kill an Urza. Bolt doesn't kill Urza, but it does still kill Asmo. These Ren and 6s don't really seem like they're gonna kill actual anything. And these Croxes don't do very well versus the opponent either. They have a bunch of cards they would just like to have in the graveyard for recasting purposes. I think I'm gonna try to squeeze the Veils in. Probably just try to take out more discard spells because these are pretty horrendous going mid to late game, but they still have their fine spots, right? Like if I can snipe one either an Asmo or a Cookbook, then it could be fine. This looks okay. I don't think I'm making any glaring mistakes. Sure. We've got no green mana, but 3 lands and 3 removal spells. We have the way to kill the Asmo. We can kill an Urza. We're just missing pressure. Things like, even if we find the threat, we don't have the mana to cast it very well, right? I guess, like, Voidwalker would be good. This is a hand that I'm not excited about, but I think I'm kind of having to keep. Only mistake is Jund in 2021? Yeah, that's fair. Trying to make it work with Lurrus. This particular list is not that far off from just a black-red Ragavan deck. We're obviously not playing Ragavan, which is a big difference. Alright, we continue to draw awkwardly. Alright, go. Alright, well they didn't have the Oval Chase Daredevil, so that's good. Is this an Emery? Emery we can use Unholy Heat on. Alright, Asmo, yeah, that also works. Search for a book. So we can just Fatal Push the Asmo, saving Terminate for maybe an Urza. Push kills Urza too, but we're not sure that we'll be able to Revolt. And I'll respond to this so they don't get the mana. And they have a cookbook in hand, so not really wanting to pulse the one in play, even if we were to have found the green. Alright, so Bobble. Bobble's nice as we can at least start comboing it with the Lurrus. I guess in the event they're playing discard, I'll activate this thing upkeep. They'd probably just take the Lurrus anyway. Bone Shards. Deals with the Lurrus. Alright, now there's a cookbook. So Green Source would be a really big draw, because we would love to be able to pulse both of these cookbooks. If we don't find it, maybe I just Lurrus, recast the Bobble. We know of Bone Shards, which is unfortunate, but they don't have any good discard outlets right now. Or anything they would want to discard right now. Ooh, they just ditched it. Interesting. Okay. Not great. We would still love to just draw it, though, because then we could Unholy Heat this and still kill the cookbooks. Green Source? Not quite. Alright, so they might not have Bone Shards anymore. They've discarded one, so this could be a window for us to just deploy the Lurrus and, like, Unholy Heat this. I guess I could Bobble them first, get some information. They've got Saga on top. Jeez, that's not good. Alright, Lurrus time. I guess I don't want the Thought Monitor in play counting towards Affinity. They got 5 artifacts already, so they'll need to spend 2 mana on a Thought Monitor if I kill it now, so I guess I should just kill it now. If they had 1 more artifact, then it literally wouldn't matter. They can always activate on Cookbook, but they would have to activate Cookbook. Bolt. Alright, so they're drawing a Saga. Saying I could cut the green cards for Monkey. Yeah, that's true, but I think Ren and 6 is pretty valuable right now, so if I'm going to play Ren and 6, then I'm already on the color of Tarmogoyf. And the green sideboard cards are also quite good. They had another one, Brutal. There's the Saga, we knew about that. Try to find our green source. They're drawing Fatal Push. That's good against the Bob. Come on. Jeez. I guess what's your last card? This isn't getting much better, so I might as well just pop it off. It's an island. We know Push is on top. Maybe I should have just held this for next turn. Because then I can't really play the Bob right now. I mean, at this point, I might as well not compound the air. I'll just play the Bob. It is bad, but in hindsight, I should have just waited on the Thoughtseize until next turn and then played this next turn as well. But now that I don't have the Thoughtseize, I'm not going to wait. I'll just make him do it. There we go. So this is going to immediately be a 6/6. We've got the pulse for those, but then we're not dealing with the cookbooks, which honestly might not be the problem anymore. It's going to end up being these Urza tokens. They're keeping Island in hand. I guess it's more worth it as a food for them. Guess not. Alright, come on deck. Green source. Okay. So I'm gonna guess they're gonna get the +1/+1 lifelink trample equipment. And then if they equip it to a construct, I might just have to take the hit for, what is it, 8 or 9, so that way Pulse can take care of 2 of the things and I have Terminate left over. I could terminate the construct. As like a gain 9. That doesn't seem great. You just got Bobble. Sure. Alright, I'll take the hit. Bobbled me. That's getting shuffled though. Getting a green source. We need to find a threat ASAP. That ain't it. I guess we'll just get the information from them. Watery Grave, okay. Arc Magician 4, thanks for the sub, the prime sub. I really appreciate it. Never necessary, but always welcome. Alright, so they're drawing Watery Grave, which is a good piece of information for us. But they're going to have so much time to find whatever they need if we don't have a threat. Which I did kind of botch because of that Thoughtseize turn. There's a threat. Kind of a slow one, but a threat. Yikes. Right, well I have to kill the Emery for sure. And there's the Asmo. Alright, so I'm bolting Emery, killing Asmo with the Terminate. So I've got 4 red mana. I could just wait to do it all on my turns. That way I can dig with the Channeler for something that I guess I would need. So I have enough red mana to, I guess, cast everything and still something that costs 2. And everything in the deck costs 2 or less with the exception of Kolagon's command. So I think I am actually going to wait to do this on my turn to get maximum surveils off of the Channeler. Oh no, that was poor. This has to die first anyway, because then they would just sack food and kill my stuff. So I have to kill this first. I've got enough red mana to do it all, which is nice. But yeah, that was almost a mistake. Alright, so now I can do this. can even do it again, because we've got more red. And then I can't let this Emery untap. Top. So hopefully next turn is going to consist of Kolaghan's Command, buy back Lurrus or something, and then start clocking in the air. So I mean, if we can get a little lucky, I think maybe we've got a shot. We know their last card in hand is a third copy of Cookbook, plus whatever they're drawing now. There are lots of draws for them, though, that would be very good. Urza's included. Well, it is a mistake because if I play the Channeler and then try to kill the Asmo, they sacrifice 2 foods to kill my Channeler with the Asmo ability. So I would let them kill my creature for free. Alright, and they found another Asmo, so that kills my creatures. We get 4th copy of Cookbook. Yep. Yeah, so we've got Kolaghan's Command on top. Alright, so yeah, they used the Cookbook to find the Asmo, so it wasn't even super unlucky. Just, their cards have other abilities too. Alright, so we're drawing Kolaghan's Command. We can buy back Lurrus, play Lurrus. We only have 6 lands though, so we would be forced to replay Bauble. They don't actually... They would have to discard their whole hand in order to get enough food to kill Lurrus over the course of a turn. So what I could just do is shatter this Cookbook, get back the Lurrus. They could still just discard their card in hand and discard it to this as well. But I mean, I think this is what has me having the best chance to pull ahead, because this has me killing a Cookbook and just drawing a random card. I feel like that's kind of what I have to do. I could have them discard a card, but they'll still just, in response, discard it to the Cookbook. So I'm going to shatter a Cookbook, buy back Lurrus, I believe. Alright, so return Lurrus, shatter a book. Alright, and then... Oh, they actually didn't discard their card. Interesting. And then, yeah, I guess I'll just Bauble now. There's no real point in waiting, right? Another Asmo. Well, at least it's legendary. And we know the last card hand's a Cookbook, so I canceled it by accident, but it is a Cookbook. So their hand is Cookbook, Asmo. So yeah, they're not going to be able to kill Lurrus this turn, it looks like. Unfortunately, the only good non-Bauble thing in our yard right now is a Channeler. I think I'm needing to dig for interactive spells, so I might just need to recast the Bauble and Hail Mary an instant off of the top. We do have one Bauble draw looming. So I could block. If I don't block, I go to 2, which means I'm just dead to the Thought Monitor. I guess they could just they could just play other Asmo out of hand. I think I have to go to 2 here. I can attack, go up to 5, but then I'm just dead to an attack as well. Not great. Thing is, if I'm losing the Lurrus here, I just don't think I have a realistic way of winning. I think I'm just gonna have to get a little lucky. Like this is gonna be the way I claw back, if I get to claw back. So they still have one cookbook in hand and an Asmo. There's the Oval Chase Daredevil. So now they're going to get a food for free every turn. So their hand is only Asmo. Alright, draw off of Bobble, right? Did I not have a Bobble looming? I swear I did. I guess not. Well, this was a bad draw, obviously. So I can attack, put them to 5. I can play a Channeler. That's not looking good. I think I just have to Hail Mary this Bobble off the top in hopes of finding, I guess, my one other copy of Kolagon's command, but that doesn't even do anything. He'll still get to activate this. Yeah, I'm pretty dead here, right? Yeah, I'm just very, very dead. Gotta Hail Mary it. Guess we can see their top card. It's a Misty. So, I mean, if a Hail Mary works, maybe. We know they've got Asmo in hands, maybe they just ditch it. That's the only good target for this. Their hand is Asmo and the 4/2. So just discard the Asmo. Yep. And I guess say go. Try to block this. Try to draw the removal off the top for the Thought Monitor. I guess I can't even block this because of the Asmo, but they've got to see it. They gotta imagine they're gonna see it though. That's the whole point of the deck. Nope. 0-1. Here's the deck. So this is basically just the black-red monkey list without the monkey and lots of green sideboard cards. Oof has been pretty good. Veil has been pretty good. And then second half of Grudge has been pretty good. With the main reason for wanting to play green right now being Renin 6 is Renin 6 is a natural predator of the monkey itself. Got one. We've got one land and a redraw. I think this is a keep because I get to Dragon Rage Channeler on 1 and then immediately cast Bobble. And then any fetch land makes this hand really, really good. So it's a risk, but we've got a small handful of looks at it. If I had 2 lands, I think I'd probably lead on the Inquisition. But it's so important to hit this land, I think. Renin 6. Okay. Ponza? Yeah, looks like Ponza. Well, if I can draw the land here and I can kill the Arbor Elf with the Renin 6, that'd be sick. Sick. Can we surveil a land? Whew. Hell yeah. So definitely killing this elf. They do get to use their Renin 6 to just ping the Channeler, because we did not achieve the Delirium. But we get to buy the land back at least. And then we're going to be sure to get basic Swamp for Impending Blood Moon. I guess I could just lead on Inquisition. Could play Bob, but that seems bad in the face of Renin 6. Their hand's kind of garbage. I guess assuming that I get to deal with the first Renin 6, I probably just want to take the second one. So that's their hand. Buy back a Meyer. Then I guess I get to cast a Croxa here. Next turn, maybe even escaping it. We'll see. Yeah, discarding Arbor Elf in the face of Renin 6 makes a lot of sense. So I feel like there's got to be not many ways that Ponza gets to deal with the Croxa once it's in play. So I'm gonna forfeit the Bloodstained Mire, escaping it to Croxa if that means I get to get the Croxa into play. All right, well, it looks like we get to keep one. I may actually want to just keep the Bauble because that's something I can better loop with the Lurrus. Yeah, I still want to get this Mire back, though, and just ditch this Mire, though. Yeah, this is fine. So I can get basic Swamp again. So I've got double red off my other two lands. This is looking good. Bloodbraid, yep. Bloodbraid's a good one. Hitting Utopia Sprawl, good. Probably one of the best hits they could have gotten for me. So I'm not really wanting to pulse their Renin 6 because then mine would die as well. Voidwalker is an interesting draw. So I think what I'm going to do is probably just jam at the opponent here. This Renin 6 doesn't seem like it's going to be doing a whole lot. Like it can ping stuff, but that's really it. And this isn't looking like a game where I'm going to be super reliant on the Bob anyway. So I think I'm Voidwalkering first. So that way if they decide to block, it goes into exile. Let's just smack the opponent, I think. We've got a pretty substantial clock being assembled here. You want to go to 5? They do. Okay. Okay. So I could even cast a Bloodbraid next turn if I wanted. Clothis. Might be a bit too slow. It's going to be big, though, creature-wise. But now I can just use the Maelstrom Pulse on the Bloodbraids and everything gets turned off, and then both my creatures get to connect. Sure. I guess they're still just dead, right? Croxa on its own against no blockers will do just fine. Really? Alright, well, this works all the same. As long as I get to turn the Colossus off, we're good to go. They'll only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 devotion. You need 7, right? Yeah. Hanging me? Sure. Croxa doing the thing. So Ponza. Honestly, there's not a whole lot that I'm super interested in. Spellbomb is a maybe. Like it can interact with their Colossus for like a turn. If they've got seasoned Pyromancer in the yard, we can maybe snipe those. But that's probably about it. I guess maybe Fatal Push is a way to kill an elf while we're on the draw. They don't play any artifacts. So like we have 3 maybes. I think I'm keeping all of the red stuff for sure. I can reliably cast them under a Blood Moon. Maybe Voidwalker isn't good enough. Although they do have Planeswalkers and Voidwalkers can sneak past them. They do have lots of high impact stuff that if we can get to cast off of a Voidwalker could be very good. I think on the draw versus the Ren and 6 deck, I'm almost for sure just cutting the Dark Confidants. And then honestly, Kolaghan's Command really doesn't do a whole lot of anything. It buys a creature back, which is probably going to be its best mode. But I think it's probably still better than like one of these. So just like a 2-for-2 swap there. Sure. They lost connection. Brutal. I guess I can take a sec to thank everybody for coming out today. We've got a decent little crowd here. Alright, they're back. Cool. Huh. So we've got Forest for Blood Moon purposes. If we want to cast Voidwalker reliably, this has to get a black source, which is set up to be pretty painful on the mana. I think this is probably acceptable, but pretty self-painful. Elf. Alright, so that's getting pushed. Which I guess I could do off of Peatland. Let's just get the fetch shock out of the way. Like it's very likely to happen at some point anyway. We get a Ren and 6, please. Darn. So here I can cast the Channeler. Play Peatland, Thoughtseize, trigger Channeler. Alternatively, I could just get the Voidwalker down. Voidwalker is probably going to be safest versus an opposing Ren and 6, but if they had Ren and 6, they might have just cast that now, unless they're super wanting to ramp into something that costs 4. And if they ramp into something that costs 4, like a Chandra, I get to finish it with Kolaghan's Command and just buy it back. So I think I'm wanting to Voidwalker here. It's the most pressure. Also, if this is their Blood Moon turn, this is going to be the card I have the hardest time casting. Boo. They're out of lands, though, which is interesting. Damn, I wish these were the same two so I could pull some, but unfortunately, no. So this forest is looking a little awkward in terms of letting me cast stuff. They're short on mana, so that would be a reason to just take a turn off and kill something. Alternatively, I could play Channeler and Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize would grow Channeler up to being a 3/3. So like it would be able to pressure them moderately well. But them being short on mana makes me think I want to just Kolaghan's Command. If I Kolaghan's Command now and like buy back this though, my next turn doesn't even look that good because I can still only single spell. So yeah, and if they also just draw the land, that could potentially be bad. Even if I kill a thing, they still at a minimum have a Bone Crusher to cast. That doesn't seem great, but neither does taking time off to cast a Voidwalker. I think I need to pay to save the pulse for bigger fish. So I'm probably just going to Channeler plus Thoughtseize. They do have a Ren and 6, a Bolt and a Blood Braid. Well, I guess I'm taking the Blood Braid. Ren and 6 is problematic too. But it doesn't actually kill any of my creatures, and they don't have a land to combo it with. Yeah, like I could take the Bolt to defend the Channeler, but then they just Blood Braid, and even if I block the Blood Braid, they're still up whatever card they found off of it. You draw a 4-drop anyway. Relic. Yeah, that's bad news. Now the Ren and 6 kills it. Kills the Channeler. That was a rip. Well, I can use the Kolaghan's Command to shoot the Ren and 6 at least. Assuming it goes downstairs to ping the Channeler. Their hand is Bolt and an Unknown. Another Kolaghan's Command, alright. So, definitely shooting this. Is the other mode going to be you discard a card or buy back Channeler? I think it's going to be you discard a card. Their last card isn't a land, so they're either discarding a Bolt or some spell that costs a lot of mana that they'll eventually get to at some point. So I think I'm shocking Ren and 6 having them discard. And then hope they don't have a Bailoff, I guess. Alright, they ditched a Bolt. So again, at a minimum, they've got Bone Crusher. Attack for 2. Bolt of my own. I still can't double spell because of the stupid forest. So I guess what the plan is now is wait until they attack and then kill the thing, because if they attack with only one thing, they're incentivized to do so because of Exalted. If I kill something before they attack, they can then just attack with the other thing. so I think I'm just bolting this. I may need to save the Terminate for something big like a Glorybringer. Take my 2. Uh-oh, what is this? Gargaroth. Alright, well, that is a Terminate target. There's a land. So, do I want to just use the Maelstrom Pulse, or do I want to use the Terminate? If I use the Terminate, and then I find a land next turn, that opens up the possibility of double spelling with the Kolaghan's Command and a Terminate. So I think I'm actually liking the Pulse. The issue there is I'm softer to a Planeswalker. This is getting basic Swamp. So I think I'm using the Pulse. It'll be unfortunate if they've got multiple of one permanent, but it seems unlikely at this stage. So I'll do this to maximize my ability to double spell. I mean, just about everything is going to be hard to beat, including that. Bone Crusher. Alright, yeah, we're just dead. Not literally just dead, but we can't beat the board. They stomp us going to 5, they attack for 4, putting us to 1. We're then at 1 mana again, since we can't use Peatland. We saw Relic of Progenitus. That could be a reason to bring in Collector Oof, but Relic really isn't even that good against us. I mean, it is pretty annoying. The thing is, like, a lot of their really medium cards against us include things like Bone Crusher, and that just makes their Bone Crushers so much better. I really don't think I want to change anything. Yep, the sand looks good. I'm going to want to get basic Forest sooner rather than later as a way to get around Blood Moon. So hopefully they've got like a 1 mana creature here, and then Wrenn and 6 can answer it cleanly. Utopia Sprawl would be worse for me. Perfect. So I really want to be able to kill this Arbor Elf now. Inquisition is an interesting draw, though, because if they've got a Wrenn and 6 of their own, they could pretty easily just kill my Channeler. So, having drawn Inquisition, it's not super clear what I want to do anymore. Like, Wrenn and 6 would very cleanly answer this Arbor Elf, but I'm super afraid of them just having Wrenn and 6 of their own. So I could always just Inquisition and then Lightning Bolt the Elf, and then next turn start going up with Wrenn and 6. But then, if I'm doing that on turn 3, I'm not deploying Voidwalker for additional clock. So it's close. I think I'm just gonna hope they don't have a Wrenn and 6 of their own, and then get the Wrenn and 6 down, and then I'll Inquisition and Voidwalker next turn, which means that I'm wanting to get a black source here, so Overgrown Tomb. I am aware that Blood Moon is a concern, but Inquisition will be able to take it next turn before it comes down. Alright, so please no Wrenn and 6. Stomp would also be annoying, but I think they'd almost rather Stomp than Wrenn and 6. Okay, they didn't have either. They're just playing Ignoble into the face of Wrenn and 6. That's ballsy. So I don't want to get got by a Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer only gives Pro from blue or black, though, so I could still ping this through a Veil of Summer. So let's just lead on Inquisition. didn't have it. Their hand is Blood Moon Tracker. Jeez. Well, there's not much use in taking the first Blood Moon if they're just gonna have another one. So I guess I'm taking the Tracker, getting basic Swamp, using it to cast Voidwalker. Yep. And then I can use the Mire that I've drawn to do so. Which means I'm going to be off of green, but the only green spells in the deck now are More Ren and 6 and Tarmogoyf. Oh, I should have Voidwalkered first, so their Ignoble would have gone to exile. Micro mistake. They upkeep tapped it? Interesting. So they're not planning on Blood Mooning then? Interesting. Yeah, not sure. Now we're gonna get our green source. Or I guess we just draw it. Which means I guess we can afford to get double black here. And I do intend on getting basic Swamp, and I want to hold up red for Lightning Bolt, so I'll just get the Swamp now. Which opens me up to Pillage, but if they're using their turn on a Pillage, I'm just winning. They're just not casting the Blood Moons at this point. Interesting. Okay. So if I bolt the opponent and spike a next type, I can grow the Channeler now and put them down to 3. Probably worth it. Yeah, let's go for it. The Bauble would be the nuts, because then I can cast it off of Lurrus in the second main. Okay, this will spin it. Go for an attack. And then I guess I'm wanting to go downstairs with the Ren and 6. I've got so many lands in hand, it hardly feels like it matters. They Ren and 6, ping my Ren and 6. I just win on boards. Let's go downstairs. Also, I can go downstairs next turn as a way to enable Delirium and have 2 lethal threats. So I guess Anger of the Gods would be the nightmare scenario now. Sure. Less of a nightmare now, but still bad. Okay. The threats that we have in play are both unblockable. Yeah, cool. Beating Ponza, always a good feeling. 1-1. Yep, this is keepable. We have a way to interact on one. We've got a cheap, efficient threat, and then we've got a run in 6. Feels like kind of everything. Oh, God. Well, that got a lot worse. So I guess now I'll just scry trick the bobble. Bloodstain Mire on top. For sure don't want that. Well, if it's Eldrazi-tron, we've got a better shot. Unholy Heat and Renin 6, both strong versus Eldrazi-tron. But just regular Tron, we're going to have a hard time. In either case, I think it's probably best to get the threat down over the Renin 6. You got the natty? Got the natty. Alright, it could still be either version of Tron. No payoff, though? I guess they just kept his Tron hand and we're digging for the payoff. Which makes sense. Alright, well, that's a good draw, assuming they're Eldrazi Tron and not regular Tron. So I kind of only have one real play here. The aggro plan. 3-turn Arc Lightning, right in 6. Got that turn 4 Ulamog. Is it Ballista? Ballista we might be able to beat. Not that one, though. Indestructible, too. Alright. I guess we're bringing in Collector Oof. Collector Oof number 2. Damping Sphere. Ancient Grudge. That's probably it. I'll just take out as many of the removal spells as possible. Unholy Heat does tag Planeswalkers, but so does Bolt. Is something better than something in the main deck? Let's see. Renin 6s do not look very good, but I mean, neither do most of these sideboard cards. Maybe Unholy Heat is just better than a Renin 6, though. Because if they have a Planeswalker, hitting it for 6 might be a way we come back. Sure. Turn 1 Channeler, but that's it. We have Renin 6 on 2. Start triggering the Channeler. I mean, Kroxa's going to be a pretty big, heavy hitter. This is not exciting. The issue is we don't have any really ace sideboard cards we're digging to. It's just one Damping Sphere and a pair of Collector Oofs. I'm not excited, but I'm keeping. Brutal. Brutal. Well, that stops just about everything. I guess we'll shock this. If we can bin another land off of this Surveil, we may actually get some value. Alright, well, they let the Surveil resolve, which means that we're going to get a land off of this. hand's not good. So I guess this is cast a Croxa, hit you for 1. I guess I attack first. I can bolt the opponent, and then use that as a way to buy back a Nurturing Peatlands if they don't immediately pop the relic. I think if I'm looking to dig towards Goyfs and make Croxa good, I need this relic to be gone, even if it does put me a land drop behind. So I think I'm gonna do it just to make them pop this relic. Yep, that's what I'm trying to make good. Wow, alright. I mean, if they just have a payoff, things are going to be difficult. They didn't have the Tron. Collector Roof? Damn. Well, this turn looks unfortunately pretty straightforward. Which is just attack with Channeler, play a Goyf, hold up an Unholy Heat. Honestly, I'll just start going downstairs. And then playing a Goyf into an O-Stone might be kind of sketch. But assuming they don't have the Tron, they're turned off from doing it anyway. I have plenty of backup threats. Sure. Sure. Show me the tower. No tower. No land, really? So their hand's all gas. They can't activate the relic now, so now might be the time where I try to get the biggest hit in possible with the Tarmogoyf. So there's not yet a creature in the yard. There's not yet an instant in the yard. I could Unholy Heat my own Goyf and Croxa, which would have me hitting for 5, ping them down to 6. It's not great, but that has them dead on board next turn unless they do something. You know, at this point, if they play a Planeswalker, it's going to be something I can't beat anyway. So I'm kind of liking just using Unholy Heat as a way to do 1 additional damage. So it only does 2. Maybe I even flip another type with this. That can go to face. I guess I'm keeping it. This is going to add a type. one type off from even growing the channeler here, unfortunately. Gotta discard. Gotta think about which 7+ drop you want to discard. Come on. So we have Lightning Bolt on top, which will have the option of fetching away with the Verdant in play. I think I'm wanting it, though. The way I win this might just be ripping burn spells back to back. Is it time to scry? The Sylvan way. Yep. So they're up to 5 mana now, which means they can activate O-Stone. I mean, if they activate the O-Stone, though, I'm going to have all the cards I need in the yard to escape a Kroxa. They won't have the mana to both pop the stone and pop the relic. So am I fetching? I don't think so. I think I'm wanting to draw the Bolt. Yeah, and if they wait, I get to ping them again with the Wrenn and 6. Yep. So now do I want to draw the Lightning Bolt? Well, I guess I didn't set the stop, so that makes that decision a little easier. Alright, so fetch. That's card number 4. Mountain. Bolt you. That's card number 5. And we know their hand is all gas. So this has to discard a spell. Also, they just die if they don't discard a spell, so. They discarded a Karn last time. Wilt? Sure. So I gotta imagine they've got something that deals with this. That certainly counts. We can still just draw a Lightning Bolt, which would be the ideal case. Bolt. Damn. I mean, the way we win might just be get their hand empty fast enough to where I get to just bolt them with the Kroxa entering the battlefield. So that turn would look like, I guess, cast Goyf. If I cast Kroxa, I don't have the mana to put Goyf into hand. Or I put Lurrus into hand. And this is whenever I cast an instant or sorcery, copy it unless I pay 2. Yeah, I think I'm getting Goyf in. And then Lurrus to hand. Go. So then turn coming up, even if I find the land, I can add a minimum Lurrus and then Croxa twice. But I mean, many of their payoffs would just kill me on the spot. They've got 8 mana left over. That's a good one. So not dead to the on-board. We just draw Bolt, please. It's so close. I mean, it still might be good enough. So this is the last turn where I have the window of killing the Ugin. But if I just play the Lurrus here, cast Croxa from the yard, they go to 1 card in hand, and then when they go to 2 cards in hand next turn, I can Kolaghan's Command, have them discard a card, Croxa from hand, and bolt them to kill them if they play anything from their hand this turn. So I think that's the play, is cast Lurrus. Cast Croxa from the yard. Just have to go after their hands, that way these things can eventually bolt them. And then can't block the Spirit because that would put a card into their hand. We're not dead on board, are we? We're at 7. They have 6 powers worth of attackers. Unless I'm missing something, we're not dead on board. Alright, so it looks like we get to win here. They are gonna actually wait a sec. This is gonna copy Kolaghan's Command. So they could just have the copy kill me. Do they have to have the mode stay the same though? Right? If they copy it and the modes stay the same, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. Do the modes stay the same? So, like, if I were to return a creature from graveyard to hand and then have them discard a card, what happens? Modes will stay? So this works, right? We still get to kill them. It's like, we can let them have a copy. We'll just discard the Bloodstained Mire. Alright, so... return a creature from graveyard to hand. There's no creature in their yard that would bite me, right? So, yeah. So, return a creature from graveyard to hand. Target player discards a card. So, return a creature, you'll discard. Your thing will trigger. I'll say, okay, you have a copy. Because they don't have any creatures in their yard. Dub. Oof. Every single point of damage mattered there. Jeez. Alright, we got another game. Yeah, Croxa for the win, indeed. I mean, I honestly don't think any of these other cards in the sideboard I'm wanting to bring in. Yeah, could not have been closer. Very well said. It's funny too because there were a few turns. I think like turn 3 and 4, I went down with the Ren and 6 just because, like, to the face. So it ended up working out in the end. There's no way I'm supposed to be bringing Brutality in for something, right? Like, everything else just seems better. Like, Unholy Heat's not exciting, but at least it can tag walkers. Yeah, I think I'm resubmitting and then crossing my fingers. Reveal the broken card. Eee. You want to runner some lands? Oh, no. There's just no way. There's just no way. They've mulliganed to 5. I think I'm keeping this. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, and the 3 is quite good. It's bottom of fetch. Like, maybe I should mulligan more aggressively for, like, a Damping Sphere or a Collector Root, but there are literally only 3 cards we're digging to. They're going down to 3 cards. Jeez, they did keep a 7 game 1 and 2, so they're due for a mulligan. Alright, well, this Inquisition's pretty likely to brick, but I'm still going to cast it. Maybe we hit a star or something silly. Nope, so their hand is turn 3 Tron, try to draw a payoff. Alright, please don't have a payoff, I guess. I mean, if their payoff is something like Karn, we can bolt it down. Saying Brutality can snag Stirrings or Scrying on the play. We're on the draw, though. They got Power Plant? They already have a Power Plant. Could have considered holding the Inquisition. Thing is, like, they're just going to cast actual anything that the Inquisition could take. I guess that's not necessarily true in the case of green spells. Yeah, they just drew the Tron. Alright, well, let's Karn. If they minus the Karn, we get to kill it. We've got Kolaghan's Command for their first, the thing they retrieve first. They should probably just plus it. If they plus it, we have a real hard time. Well, I guess if they plus it, we can make it so they can't minus. So if they're gonna draw a payoff, I guess this was the thing we were happiest they found. Like, they might just get Ensnaring Bridge here. And then we can still bolt the Karn. We have the Kolaghan's Command for it eventually. So, like, this would have been a spot where maybe we actually get to take something with the Inquisition if they get, like, a bridge here. Oh, not even true, because they just cast the bridge immediately. What you got, opponent? I mean, they're going to have 9 mana next turn. They could just get something that costs an absurd amount. Trinosphere. That would not have been the guess. Alright, let's see what Bob wants to flip. Inquisition and a Kroxa is found. So I can Lightning Bolt the Karn, but because of the Trinosphere, that would be the entire turn. Kind of close. So I should almost definitely kill. I for sure am killing the Karn this turn. So the options are shock it with Kolaghan's Command, shatter Trinosphere, and attack the Karn, or just use the bolt. I think Kolaghan's command is probably going to be better used later, but all of my stuff is going to be so expensive as long as this Trinisphere is around that it's probably best just to get it off the table now. Yeah. So I'm going to shock the Karn, shoot the Trinisphere, attack the Karn for the remaining 1 loyalty. So, 2 to a target, destroy an artifact. Artifact, target. Long term, can we afford to play around the Trinisphere? It's not super unlikely, but if I want to get the Lurrus going, that becomes a lot harder. Alright, so we're hoping to dodge the top of the library, and they've got Tron assembled. So if we can dodge the top, excellent. But if we don't dodge the top, we're in trouble. So here, I think I'm going to be using Kroxa to get their last card. Like, if the last card's Ulamog, that would have been something they couldn't cast. And we flipped Damping Sphere. Oh, boy. Alright, so we get to do it all, right? I get to cast Kroxa to eat their last card. And then I get to Damping Sphere. Obviously, I have to do it in this order, or else Damping Sphere would tax myself. So this turns off a lot of their outs. And remember, this is a Lurrus deck, so there are only 2 cards in the deck remaining that cost 3. 1 Pulse and 1 Kolaghan's Command. Everything else costs 2 or less. So this Bob is pretty safe. And Stefan84, or Steven84, thank you for the follow. Yeah, Damping Sphere was pretty nutty. We're also 1 card off of escaping Kroxa, so if we hit a fetch land, we can. Remember, we can't Bolt and also Kroxa because we're getting taxed. But we've got the mana, right? We've got red, red, black, black. So this can be tapped. Escape a Kroxa. Was a Stirrings, which they can't cast. Alright, looking good, looking good. We flipped another Bolt. Alright, so they're just dead on board then, right? We're attacking for 8, we can Bolcha Bolcha. It was a Thrag Tusk. That's sick. Wow. Sick. Screwtron. Get out of here. Whew. Jeez. That was so close. So good. 2 and 1. Tuckfron indeed, yeah. Duncan, I agree as well. I agree. It's funny too, because people like I think Tron is pretty terribly positioned at the moment, and then they run into their like 1 good matchup and still lose. That's funny. And if you're not already following, you definitely should. It's a great free way to support what I do. And everything that I stream live on Twitch goes to my YouTube channel. And you can find all of my previous recordings on that channel. It's linked to my Twitch page as well as listed right here under my face. And as I say that, Duncan, thank you for the follow. And yeah, it sounds looking good. So this is league number 109. So there are 108 other leagues already uploaded to my channel with tons of extras. Triome. Alright, so it could still just be like blue-white or something. They splash red now for just like prismatic ending, right? Ooh, Thoughtseize is good. I wish I'd had that last turn. That'd have been nutty. As is though. So the highest ceiling is just playing the Bob. And if it is blue-white, this is going to be the best window to try to resolve it, unless I want to wait for hopefully spiking a land to Thoughtseize. I think I'm just going to slam it, though. With another good thing to do on 2 mana, even if I get stuck, slamming it seems fine. The one reason to, I guess, play Red and 6 over the Bob would be that this is better versus Teferi Time Raveler. But if they Teferi if they Teferi Time Raveler bounce the Bob, I can always just Red and 6 and ping it. Okay, so it does look like it's blue-white. I guess it could still be a Stoneblade variant. Okay. So that tells me a little bit about their hand, unless they just top decked this. Mana's looking awkward. I guess I'm just going to resolve the Planeswalker while I can. They get a Force. Yeah, no fetch land is a bummer. Right, so like... Had they already known that they could Teferi bounce the Bob, it's possible that they just don't counterspell this and save it for something better. But if they didn't just draw this and this was all planned, that might tell me that they don't have a removal spell for the Bob, so that could mean no prismatic ending. And not ending this Ren and 6 makes sense along that thought pattern. Still not drawing a land though is pretty unfortunate. I guess I'll cast Thoughtseize. Please just be counterbalanced. Damn it. We've got no pressure. Come on, lands. Damn it. Another thing I can't cast. Well, we got the bad side of variance this time, I think. Not to say we would have won with the lands, but this hand looks like it had the tools to win, had we found them. Yeah, and Field of Ruin, I hadn't mentioned before, but this almost definitely just straight blue-white control and ending off the red land like I mentioned. So if we draw something like a Bobble now, maybe we could even Unholy Heat the Teferi. Well, I guess I'm just going to cast the spell that I am legally able to cast. The moment they find, like, a big Teferi or something, it's pretty easily over. Okay. We can maybe go for an Unholy Heat now. This is a really big turn to draw a land because I could try to Unholy Heat the Teferi and stick the Goyf in the same turn. Okay, there it is. So I'm going to try for this first. Because if they have a counter spell, I'd rather resolve the Goyf between the two. Yikes. It's going to be like a cryptic command, yeah. Just bouncing the Teferi. That's a cute play. So this will get more black, more red, Blood Crypt. We've got the Forest in play for the Goyf. So we just got another Teferi in hand. Boing. Steam Vents. Okay, maybe it is just 3-color. It was less likely because of the Fielded Rune, but it's still possible. Maybe it's just a backup red source in case something happens to the first one. Who knows? Alright, well, that is pretty unlikely to resolve. I mean, I can't do something at my opponent's turn because this thing. I mean, I could just go for it. It's got the highest upside, assuming it does resolve. Sure. And then I could kill either the Teferi or the Snapcaster if it resolves, but I think I more just want to get a land. Alright, I'm not interested in continuing this. Not finding the land until turn 6 really hurt. Alright, Spell Bomb looks good. Veil of Summer looks good. Brutality looks good. Push looks bad. Terminate looks bad. What else? I guess the bolts are kind of lackluster. Bolts can go after planeswalkers, but so can Unholy Heat. So I think I like trimming the bolts. And then probably like an Inquisition. Inquisition tends to be pretty strong versus control decks. So I think the last card to cut is probably between an Inquisition and just like a Bauble. But Bauble does a good job at turning everything else on, so I think I'd rather just max out on Baubles. Reveal the broken card. 1 land with a redraw. I think I've got to ship it. If I miss on the land, we just kind of fall so far behind that we die on the spot. Better. I think I'm just gonna bottom 2nd Brutality. Kind of awkward that we don't have double black. We can scry trick with the Bauble and the Verdant. Which I guess we can do on the opponent's turn. It is a Dragon's Rage Channeler. I think I'm keeping that. Kind of awkward in that it's the only thing that I get to do for a turn. But I think I'm going to need all the threats I can afford. So I'll draw the Channeler, which is maybe the first mistake of the game, but we'll see. Goyf's of Fines. I guess I just do that. It uses my mana just more efficiently. Sure. Say yes. Sacrifice. Get black for sure, and I guess red. Cast the Goyf. So then next turn, I'm almost definitely wanting to play the Channeler, because that would make their turn 3 Teferi the weakest possible. Because I don't want them to be able to, I don't want them to be able to bounce a creature and then have the board be empty. But Snare is pretty bad for me. Black Source? Hell yeah. Alright, so the turn here is probably just to play 2 threats. Hope they don't have both a Counterspell and a Teferi. Yeah, old school Snare too. Alright, so this will get Overgrown Tomb. Alright, 2 creatures on board versus their Teferi is a big deal. Alright, they just don't play one. Cool. We don't know that they have it, but I'm going to assume that it's a likely holding. Bob's a good one. Now we are in Archmage's Charm territory, so I guess I should lead on an attack. I don't think I'm using Brutality here. I think I want to save it for a Cryptic turn where I want to try to pair it with something. Cool. So, on a scale of 1 to Supreme Verdict, how scared should I be? I could just hold up Kolagon's command, but again, next turn is their Cryptic turn, so the longer I wait, the harder it may be to resolve something. I'm just going to hope they don't have a Verdict. If they've got a Verdict, I'm kind of going to just die on the spot, but if they don't have it, I'm significantly ahead. Didn't want to counter the Bob, so I guess that means they've got something good coming up. Please, no verdicts. Looks like they might have it. Yeah, I mean, I could have cleared the way with Brutality, maybe. Oh, it's the Teferi, alright. If I kept Voidwalker untapped, I could have countered Verdict. No, because Verdict is uncounterable. That's that gimmick. Every 4-mana sweeper has a gimmick. That's Verdicts. So they bounce the Bop, and we do Thoughtseize. Alright, well, this is going alright. I guess we just lead on the Thoughtseize here. We can double spell. Maybe we even grow the Channeler. So we do not yet have Sorcery in Yard, so this actually does grow it for sure. I don't want more lands. Let's bin it. Their hand is Jace, Cryptic, Counterspell, and lands. I think I'm just taking the Cryptic here. Cryptic is going to be the thing that buys them the most time. If they just cast a Jace and unsummon something, we just get to kill the Jace. So this is looking like a clear Cryptic take. And then we get to redeploy the Dark Confidant. And then we get to... We could even just ignore the Teferi, hit the opponent down to 6. That puts them into that puts them into a pretty precarious life total. I kind of like just going at them. And then this puts down Cryptic Command of my own, but again, that's fine. Their hand is really, really bad against this board. They have to draw a Verdict immediately or they die. What's up, Mom? They played a Misty, which we knew about. We get a Bob to go off. That's exciting. Reeling a land and an Inquisition, not bad. So at a minimum, that's going to take Counterspell. Combat. And then we're going to go at their face because if it works, they just die. Cool. Still blue-white, maybe red control. It's looking like just blue-white, and the Steam Vents was just a backup red source for Prismatic Ending, though. Like, maybe if you... It might not even be backup. Just like if you need to fetch Shock for a Prismatic Ending, you can't get Triome. I think I'm keeping it as is. I kind of like how I've boarded. Resubmit. Reveal the broken card. Yep, the Sand's keeper. A keeper. This Sand's really, really good. Keep. You've got discard on 1 to try to sneak through either a Bob or a Ren and 6, and then based off of how their hand looks, we can make that decision. Like, almost definitely taking a 2-mana counterspell here. But if they've got it to Fairy, for example, I think I'm going to be wanting to play the Ren and 6 so it doesn't get bounced. Okay, so it is a red control deck. We've just got Helixes. Alright, so knowing about Helixes means that my 2-drop of choice is almost definitely going to be the Ren and 6, unless I want to like Voidwalker to bait the Helix and clear the way for the Bob. That could be a line. Alright, and Misty was the card we did not know about. Ooh, a Channeler. Alright, well, I'm probably still wanting to just play the Ren and 6. It's typically pretty powerful, right? And this is the one turn where we know for a fact we'll be able to resolve it. So this will get Overgrown Tomb. So far, so smooth. There are still many draws the opponent could find that would be good for them. But drawing a Channeler was kind of perfect, because now we get to double spell next turn and really apply pressure. Found the Prismatic Ending, maybe? Yep, brutal. Alright, well, I mean, we got our card back off of it already. Unholy Heat. So it's kind of interesting which I want to try to resolve between the Voidwalker and the Bob. The Bob is going to be better the longer it's in play, though, right? So it's almost definitely just going to be Bob. And then I guess I can get basic Swamp to do so. Yeah, I think if this Blood Crypt ends up coming in tapped, that'll be 1 life I haven't lost. So if Bob gets to stick around, that can allow Bob to be better. So I think getting basic Swamp off of this is probably just fine. And so here's the Channeler, and then Bob is the must kill right now, but Voidwalker is Voidwalker I feel like is more innocuous, but they're both very powerful. I think I'm more wanting the Bob to stick around, which means that I'll bait with the Voidwalker. Keep the Bob for after the Helix. So their hand is these 4 cards, plus 1 unknown, which was the freshly drawn card. Ren and 6, not bad. I guess I'm just leading on Kroxa. I can then attempt to resolve a Ren and 6 through the Helix. I guess I should just attack first because they're pretty likely to just use the Helix immediately. Yep. So now we can get the Bob in. And then I guess I should use the Ren and 6 first, and then I can get the Mire back. And then I guess just fetch basic Mountain, sure. bin that. I could have done this first main to grow the channeler, but I was really worried about Cryptic Command. I mean, there's only one card I didn't know about at the time, so maybe playing around exactly and only Cryptic is being a little too scared. But I mean, it ended up working out. So if they deal with my massive board, I still have Kroxa afterwards. It's an okay spot to be in. Colonnade. Unholy Heat takes care of Colonnade. They had a Bolt for the Bob, unfortunate. So the remainder of their hand is just lands. Goyf's a good hit. So if I remove the Mire from the yard, Channeler is no longer a 3/3, so I'll lead on an attack. Alright, and now I can buy this back. Play a Tarmogoyf. Play a land. Play a Kroxa. I guess I'll just get basic Swamp now, so if I Unholy Heat the Colonnade. I guess if they Field of Ruin the Blood Crypt, it gets awkward. I could just not cast the Kroxa. That seems kind of wrong. I guess I could always Fetch Shock Stomping Ground. My life total's still really high. Yeah, I'm overthinking it. Let's just slam the Kroxa. I'll Fetch Shock a Stomping Ground if I want to Unholy Heat a Colonnade. So they need a lot as it sits. Like, even if they have the Verdict, for example, we still just have a Renin 6 and can escape a Kroxa. Alright, they do have the Verdict. Fair enough. But we're still just very ahead. So the way we lose now is they find Prismatic Ending off of the top. So let's try to leave Delirium and the good Kolaghan's Command target and the land for the Renin 6. So if I find a Kolaghan's Command, I'm very likely to get back Bob or Voidwalker, so I can remove the other creatures for sure. I'm probably actually wanting Voidwalker over Bob at this stage. I can add instant to the yard pretty easily, same with sorcery, so let's leave a Mire and take out an Inquisition and an Unholy Heat. The Man Bet, thank you for the follow, I appreciate the support. And then this buys back Mire. And then, honestly, let's just play the Blood Crypt. There's only one more fetchable. They don't know that, but given the mana base, it's pretty easy to conclude. Found the Teferi? Oh, this is just Colonnade. Alright, so at beginning of combat, I'll Unholy Heat. Oh, I took off Delirium. I'm stupid. They're just trying to smack the Renin 6. That's fine. I'm glad I realized before I did it. So we get to hit them down to 2. Another land is not great. I guess if I ping them with the Renin 6 here, they have to use their entire turn's worth of mana to attack the Renin 6 again. And then they just die to the Kroxa. Alright, so still looking pretty good. So if they brick here, we just win. So the Nightmare scenario here is Prismatic Endings. Then they can activate Colonnade, attack the Renin 6, Prismatic Ending the Kroxa, and then we're at parity. But any burn spell kills them. Bolts are out, but brutalities are in. Kolaghan's commands are still in. Ren and 6s are still in. They found the Teferi. That's bad too. That bounces the Kroxa. But that's honestly not even that bad. If they still just draw a land, they die to Kroxa getting cast. They can't cast a spell because then they die too. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. So 3-1. We've got a really nicely sized crowd today. Streamlabs lags a little bit, but it's showing me 90. I want to thank everyone for coming out. Been having a lot of fun playing this pile of cards from 2015. Remember, if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, literally everything that I do gets uploaded there. So if Jund is the kind of content you like, you can already find days worth of hours worth of it uploaded there. And it's my YouTube channel is linked to my Twitch channel as well as listed right here. Reveal the broken card. Keep a keepable hand. And Castro, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. 90 on Twitch too? Cool. Got a nice sized crowd. So, what am I doing first between Inquisition and Channeler? Given that I'm on the play, I think I'm actually just going to Inquisition first, and then next turn I can Channeler and Inquisition again. So, Blood Crypt. Inquisition, target you. What you got? Oh, what? This is some kind of oops all spells pile. I don't get it. Norbit, thanks for the resub. I appreciate it. So they've got disruption and explosives. So explosives is going to be good versus Channeler, but we've got double threat anyway. I think I'm just going to take their land, to be honest. This is a pile I did not see coming. I'm interested to see what it can do. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to Channeler plus Inquisition again. Inquisition can take the engineered explosives. Haven't seen Oops. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't look like Oops all spells, though. They're playing Sundering Titan. Definitely strange. They're playing Opt as well. Still just going to take the explosives. And I guess go. Yeah, I don't know how they sneak their thing into play, but I'm interested to find out. I imagine there's some kind of way they plan on sneaking Sundering Titan into play, but as long as I hold up the Terminate when that happens, I think we'll be okay, because we can just keep on slamming with the creatures we've got in play. Oh, gifts on burial rights. That makes sense. That does make sense. They've got the gifts. I don't know how many copies of Sundering Titan they might be playing. I imagine there are other payoffs as well. Just missed on land. Sick. More land's not really what I'm wanting to see. I guess we slam. And they're not getting Sundering Titan into play, so this is probably a fine turn to take off and just put Lurrus to hand. Nothing to combo with it yet, but we're going to spend the mana sooner or later. There's a land. It's not a blue land. Croxa. Well, that actually would enable their Sundering Titan plan, right? So maybe I don't even want to do that, especially because there are literally no lands in their deck, so this is just going to be discard a card, which seems good for them. So this is looking like slam. Maybe just play a Lurrus as an additional attacker. Does it change the clock at all? We're attacking for 5. This is 8. Put you to 1. Yeah, it's probably worth it. I can still hold up on Holy Heat. Pretty short on Delirium, though. I guess, like, some amount of sweepers are possible out of this deck, but yeah, it didn't look very likely. Alright, up a game. So, assuming that Chad is correct, which I assume that it is, and they're trying to Gifts Ungiven and Burial Rites, definitely want, Spell Bombs. Veil of Summer is pretty great versus the card Gifts Ungiven because it targets an opponent. We didn't see any artifacts, so I'm uncertain about the hate package, but Brutality is good versus the gifts plan. So it's this is a maybe. So these are the definites, these are the maybe. This does not seem like a matchup where burn spells are particularly relevant, so I'm thinking we could probably take out the Unholy Heat, probably even just trim on the bolts. Pushes also seem like they're going to be pretty weak. Terminate can kill the reanimated target, but if we just deny it from entering period, then these don't seem like they do much of anything. The Croxas do seem pretty bad, though. They have literally no lands in the deck, and it actively helps their plan. So maybe I bring in the Terminate just as the 60th card, which also lets me play the Brutalities. That seems good. Sure. So if their plan is to gifts on Burial Rites, what's the payoff for not playing lands? Well, if this hand had lands, it'd be excellent. Unfortunately, it does not. Oof. This is probably a keep. Binning second Brutality. Belcher makes sense. No! Stop it, opponent. Well, I imagine Voidwalker is still going to be excellent versus the Reanimator package if we can get to it. Land? Not the land for the Voidwalker. Should have been more specific. Crap. Well, maybe the coast is clear for the Voidwalker now. Black Source? That doesn't target the opponent. Brutal. So our outs to this are, I believe, just Maelstrom Pulse. That's fine. Come on deck. Black Source. Darn. Have to target us. Renin 6 on top. Darn. I could have like sacked Bobble targeting myself to draw the land immediately, but it's not a land, so not very useful. Trying to draw a land here. Nope. Land? Black source, please? Nope. We're lucky to draw the first one. It was not the one we needed. Black source. Perfect. Better late than never. Gotta imagine they've got a way to interact with this, though. Is Greentron still playable in Modern? I think that it's pretty poorly positioned, and even its good matchups have a game against it. We played against it in round 3 today, and we actually ended up beating it. So, I mean, if you're losing to your only good matchups, I feel like it's probably not what you'd want to be doing. Alright, they continue to have nothing, but so do we. We have lots of Ren and 6s, though. They're missing blue mana as well. Can continue to hold up our 1 copy of Terminate and have it do nothing. Even if we get to a Ren and 6 emblem, not being able to target the opponent is going to make it a lot worse. Batter Skull. Okay. There's the blue land. So if I terminate the Germ, they're going to be able to eventually replay the Batter Skull anyway. It's probably still worth it, because then that means I could get the Ren and 6 ultimate off, and then terminate is something that I could actually end up comboing with the emblem. Tron should be considered a meme deck at this point. I'm glad it's finally into that territory. Tron was something I never had a good time playing against. I know everyone's experience is different, but personally it was not something I'm a fan of. Alright, we've got a lot of Terminates. They could Lantern to get rid of the Terminator, I suppose, but then they're not drawing a card off of it, which is, I guess, good. Exile Graveyard, make a 1/1. Sure. So this 1/1 is something that can be equipped with the Batter Skull, so I'm probably wanting to just use the Brutality on it now. Keep this Ren and 6 alive. Now we have infinite brutalities. It just goes on and on and on. I have a Lurrus. Forgot I have a Lurrus. There's nothing to actually combo it with yet, but it is something I can do. Thinking Undercity Informer Thassa's Oracle, also a possibility. We've got a lot of really powerful draws that we're just not hitting. Oh, yeah, damn it. I mean, I could Brutality of the Germ twice. That's looking like the plan. There's just not much else to do. I guess I'll take another land out of the deck. Yeah, I don't know what the opponent's doing, but at some point we'll find out when we immediately die, I imagine. We've got nothing to combo with the Lurrus at the moment. Ah, there's the win con. Jeez, we just keep on finding more and more lands. Oof. Alright, well, I guess I'm casting Lurrus. This doesn't kill it, does it? It's -3 as exile. Yeah, so this doesn't die immediately. Unfortunately, we only have 3 brutalities loaded up, so we can't kill this Platinum Empyrean until next turn. Sure. It's gonna hold the lands. The lands could be a spell that's good when I find the spell that's good, which was hopefully gonna happen eventually. If they want to attack the red and 6, sure, I'll just recast it. I imagine they're just gonna go to face. If they go at all, because they might want to just defend the Dakon. They went top. Why didn't we kill the Dakon with the red and 6? Yeah, that was possible. It's still possible, but you're right. They're going face. Sure. Prismatic ending. Brutal. Can I get a Kolaghan's command, please? Please? A bit late on that. Alright, yeah, we're just dead. We went through almost the whole deck, or almost half of the deck, and didn't find any action. There it is. I mean, we saw Relic. I mean, we not Relic. We saw the Soul Guide Lantern, I guess. Ancient Grudge might actually be good if all of their win cons are going to be artifacts. Yeah, Grudge seems like it could do a thing. Yeah, we saw equipment as well. That's very true. So maybe we just also bring in the oof. The run in 6s looked pretty poor. Yeah, we did get to see more of the deck. They did actual nothing 8-1. Kind of liking this this 3-for-3 swap. Maybe the run and sixes are even better than still just the lightning bolts. Yeah, run and six is probably better than lightning bolt. Especially if they're going to be trying to play some ley lines against us. I guess other terminate becomes a consideration. Honestly, even Croxa would not have been bad there. Just as a way to pressure their hand and attack, period. So what would I cut for the Croxas? Maybe I can cut the Inquisitions just as a further hedge versus the opponent having a ley line. Sure. Let's go first. Reveal the broken card. This hand is not exciting. We've got the Veil if their route to victory is the Gifts Ungiven. We can interact with some number of artifacts. We've got a Ren and 6. It's not exciting, but we've got 2 sideboard cards and a Lurrus hanging out. I do have the ley line. Guess I'll just say... I guess they could, in theory, like, Thoughtseize us or something, so I'll lead on Peatland. Shock and go. Interesting. Dragon Rage Channeler is also quite interesting. I'm more wanting to just play the Channeler because this can actually attack, whereas Ren and 6 don't really do much anything. Also lets me continue to hold up a Veil of Summer. I don't know why they shocked. Oh, opt. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Go Red Delver, yeah. I'm trying. And they bottomed with the opt, by the way. Inquisition doesn't do anything versus Leyline. I've only got 1 greed mana, so I'll be putting down Veil of Summer to cast the Ren and 6, which I'm not stoked about. But next turn is their Gifts Ungiven turn, so if I'm going to put it down for any number of turns, this is the turn to do it. Just start working up towards the Ren and 6 emblem. Sure. We also get to surveil off of the Channeler. I don't think I want that. I've already got the Veil as an answer. So I've already got the Ancient Grudge as an answer to all of their artifact win cons. Oh, I forgot to activate the Ren and 6. That's my bad. My bad. Boo. No, and Lantern hits the Channeler. Brutal. So now we can't get it back with the Lurrus. Brutality can't target them. So this Ren should be at 5, but I doofed. They also missed a land, by the way. Goyf is a good one, but that has me putting down Veil of Summer. So I think I'm just going to cast the card they know about, which is the Lurrus. They can revolt by sacrificing the lantern if they want to push it again. But if they push it again, I might even just want to not Veil of Summer it. Given that I want to use the Veil for a Gifts Ungiven or something. So even a green source would be a fine draw here. Channeler is okay as well. I guess I'll lead on attack. So again, this is their turn where they would be casting Gifts. I think I'm just going to hold up Veil and Grudge, as opposed to also playing Tarmogoyf, which isn't even that big. Teferi is really, really annoying. So I guess I'm just going to cast a Grudge now. And then intend on attacking the Teferi down. If I Grudge the Soul Guide Lantern, they can, I know, just draw the card off of it now, but maybe they can't draw the card off of it later. Also, I don't really want to Grudge anything before the Lantern, because then the Lantern takes care of the second half of the Grudge anyway. So I think I'm doing this in response. Yep. I guess they should have let me surveil first, but whatever. Voidwalker. That feels like it's got to be pretty good. Especially versus the Reanimator plan. Yeah, I'll top it. And then, assuming that I get to kill the Teferi, I'll continue to hold the Veil. Yep. So I can use the Ren and 6 to ping the Teferi that way, or I could just attack it for 1 and then plan on ultimating Ren and 6 next turn. Should probably go for the ultimate and just attack the Teferi for 1. I'm pretty far from the requisite card types. So I think I'm going to Voidwalker over the Lurrus. And then kill the Teferi with the Channeler. And I could now put down Veil of Summer to also cast the Tarmogoyf now that things are like actually decently large. And we're even good against Gifts Ungiven now because of the Voidwalker. So I think this is a fine turn to put it down. Puts down Grudge as well, but we don't need Grudge up. We just need to have access to it, period. We can beat Retroactive with it. Prismatic Ending. Yeah. So no ultimate for us. We've got an attack for 6 as is. You're saying cast Teferi and bounce Leyline with the Grudge? That's a play. Kind of like it, to be honest. They can't even recast it right now. Yeah, I kind of like it. We're losing out on a little bit of clock, but it's a pretty anemic clock anyway. So the Teferi line is kind of cute. Haven't seen any counter spells out of them yet. Trigger. We've got creature instant in the yard. Land as well. Push. Well, we no longer have the insulation to do the gifts ungiven. But the clock is so slowed by allowing this push to resolve that I think I should just Veil. We've got a lot of clock already. I don't need more threats. Resolves? Cool. Just draw another Veil. We don't have another green source though. We're at 4 right now, 5 total. I guess we can Inquisition now. We'll still get to Brutality as well. This is going to grow the Channeler by adding Sorcery. 3 ley lines. I guess that makes some sense, huh? So I'm going to take the Teferi here, and then we can Brutality the Prismatic ending. Let's escalate. 2 modes. These two. You. Let's ditch. I guess Blackleaf Cliffs. Trigger this again. Bin that. We want the 5th land? Why? 5th land doesn't do anything for us. Like, we just have him dead on board. You're saying to Voidwalker plus Lurrus next turn? Sure, but we don't even need that. We just put them to 2 here. Like, we just want to cast the card that kills them. When it says GG's. Okay. So we actually ended up escaping with a 4-1 there. You're saying in case they have Wrath? Well, I mean, putting them to 2, if they have Wrath, we just kill them anyway, because we just have the other Brutality in hand, right? So even if they have Wrath, putting them to 2, I think, is still correct. So anyway, so that was the end of that league. So for purposes of the recording that goes on the YouTube channel, I'm going to do a quick deck tech / wrap up. So this is the 2nd league that I've done with this exact configuration. Both have resulted in 4-1s. I think Jund, just as a color trio, is kind of naturally getting pushed towards being Rakdos now that lots of good black and red threats have been printed and where it's less of a necessity to play things like Tarmogoyf. Dragon Rage Channeler being the biggest, and then obviously Ragavan being the next biggest. I'm not playing Ragavan in this particular list for no particular reason other than trying to see how it functions without it. But the deck has continued to just function really, really well. I like the split of the discard spells. I also like the split of Push to Unholy Heat to Lightning Bolt. Typically, I don't like things like Assassin's Trophy because giving the opponent a land is a pretty significant drawback, but we still need to be able to kill things like Murktide Regent and various Planeswalkers. So while Terminate does not hit Planeswalkers, we can still kill things like Murktide, various Eldrazi out of Eldrazi Tron, things like Stormwing Entity without getting blown out by Prowess triggers. So I think Terminate probably still the best 2-mana removal spell available right now. But not being able to kill Planeswalkers is a pretty significant drawback. But I think it comes up less often than giving the opponent a land would be bad for us. So Unholy Heat being able to kill Planeswalkers is a nice little way to shore up the fact that Terminate does not fill that particular job. The Dark Confidants have continued to feel very, very good. With the exception of Prowess, there really aren't that many decks out there right now that are trying to win through killing you as quickly as possible via damage. And in formats saturated by mid-range control and combo, Dark Confidant tends to be pretty good. And pretty much every time we've seen the Bob, it just has been pretty excellent. So maybe even should be going up on the Bob numbers, but Bob has been looking really, really good as of late. Lurrus has continued to be, I think everyone knows by now, it's just pretty ridiculously good. We won 10 games, or we won at least 8 games. I think we won a total of 9 games this league. And I think 2 or 3 of those games were because we had the extra card in Lurrus that was able to accumulate additional extra cards. So that was pretty excellent. The sideboard has looked really, really good. We've been seeing a pretty good mix of artifact decks and combo decks, and that's pretty much what this sideboard is geared towards. The one thing I guess that the sideboard is not particularly geared towards is beating the big mana decks, things like Tron and Amulet Titan, both of which, however, have been on a steep decline, especially in the case of regular Tron. But we actually ended up facing regular Tron this league, and we did actually end up beating it in Game 3 with a Damping Sphere, or at least with the help of a Damping Sphere. But I mean, other than that, there's not really a whole lot to say. The list continues to be pretty sweet. I've only got 10 matches under the belt with this particular configuration, so I don't really think I've got enough data to make any significant claims at the moment. But I have liked it so far, and I'm going to continue to do something fairly similar, if not identical, in the near future. So that's going to be it for this recording. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to hit that like and subscribe button. It's a great free way to support what I do. And if you're watching on Twitch and you're not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, it's also a great free way to support what I do. And absolutely everything that I record, including this league, gets uploaded to my YouTube channel. This is league number 108 or 9, I think. It's 109. So there are 108 other leagues already posted to my YouTube channel, as well as some extras like a Mana Trader series, and as well as some extras in the forms of other decks. Like I've played some Grixis Shadow, some Stoneblade shenanigans, some Prowess, stuff like that. So if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching, and until next time, Jun them out.